Peace, peace, Black people. Welcome to Yemima's World, the Jelly Moose's Cafe. I am your hostess, Yemima, and as always, it is good to be Black in the land of the living once again. It is a Sunday afternoon, and this is the second time I'll be recording this. I don't know what's going on with my internet today. It's a little spotty, a little shaky, so I'm going to try to get this one done. Sunday afternoon is nice and cool in the 757 area, and as you're making your way to your houses of worship or from your houses of worship, I hope that you all have a blessed Sunday. All right, so today's title is Give Them Some Grace. And I kind of like to come on Sundays, at least on Sundays, to talk about maybe something that has happened to me during the week that prompts me to see things in a different way, or maybe help others to see things in a different way. So give them some grace. What am I talking about? Well, let's go back because, I always honor my ancestors. So let's go back. So during the time of chattel slavery, our ancestors on the plantations were not extended any type of grace from their oppressors. They worked 6 days a week from can't see to can't see. And no matter what happened to side of, or in addition to, I should say, excuse me, of being in bondage, they still had to show up for their work, for their daily work. And they had to be glad about it. They had to show up with a smile on their face, a song in their heart, and be happy no matter what happened to them. Now, we know that our ancestors experienced some horrific things in their lifetime. And so it could have been anything. A mother could have lost her baby. A mother and father could have lost their child on the auction block. They could have lost a loved one that just dropped dead while they were working in the fields. And they would have had to remove the body and let the body kind of just sit over to the side until they were able to bury it at the end of the day. But even though their loved one may have dropped dead, they were still expected to work, and they were still expected to be happy about working. I remember a few years ago, the person who did the TV show Duck Dynasty said something to the effect of, when he was a little boy growing up, Black people working out in the fields were always happy people. They were always singing, so they were supposedly always happy. You've seen plenty of movies where they have the magical Negro. Well, we are always supposed to be happy people. Nothing is supposed to break us. Nothing is supposed to get us down. We're not supposed to show any kind of emotions about anything. There is a scene in the movie 12 Years a Slave where a woman had lost her child, and I can't remember if the child had died or if she had lost her child to the auction block, but she could not control her emotions. She cried and she wailed and she cried and she wailed. And Solomon's character told her to be quiet. He was tired of hearing her wail, and he could not understand her wailing because he had not been enslaved before. So he didn't understand that until he became a slave for 12 years. And then he could kind of understand her wailing. But she was expected to be happy. Our ancestors were expected not to show any emotions, even on the ships out in the Middle Passage when you were chained together and one died and they tossed them overboard. It could have been your wife. You were not expected to show any type of emotion. You were expected to still be grateful for your circumstances. And even the Christian Bible speaks of giving thanks and being grateful and having a grateful heart in all things. And there are some things in your life that you should not be grateful for. I'm sorry, but there are some things that you should not be grateful for. In all things, you should be have be joyous. No, no. And that is where they would read those passages to those that were enslaved, and they would have this mentality of, oh, well, I'm supposed to be grateful and be happy in all situations. And that is simply not true. That is a misinterpretation of the scripture, I think, in my opinion. I'm not a scholar, but in my opinion. So what prompted me to talk about this today, this week at my corporate plantation, my coworker, who is negative about everything. She went to lunch, and on her lunch break, apparently she went to a fast food restaurant. And the cashier who waited on her did not smile. And so when she got back to work, she wasn't angry. She just wanted to vent about her not smiling. And she was saying, I understand why people get these jobs and they don't want to smile. If you ain't want the job, then you shouldn't have took the job. If you go act like that, if you go have that kind of attitude, you shouldn't have took a customer service job. And the crazy thing is that in this country, we have been at the top percentage of having service jobs. That's pretty much all the jobs that we have are service jobs. And service jobs meaning customer service, whether we are maids or cooks, bus drivers, working in call centers, working in restaurants as waitresses. Most of the jobs that Black people hold in this country are service jobs, meaning we are serving the public, whether we're doing it over the phone or in person, face to face. And so we are still expected, even in 2024, to come to those jobs, to be a part of those jobs, to show up at those jobs with a smile on our face, a word of encouragement for everybody else on our lips, and a song in our heart. No matter what has happened to us prior to us coming into work that day, we are expected to still be happy Black people. I remember working for a job in a call center, and they used to play music in the call center, and I overheard one of the oppressors say something to the effect of, because they were playing something like easy listening or easy rock music, and he said something to the effect of, let's change the station and put it on some rap music to get them working, to make them happy. And so our ancestors in the fields had to sing. They would sing songs, and that would give the oppressor the impression that we were happy. And they were forced to sing songs again after something took place, something horrific that had taken place, the death of a loved one, the selling off of a loved one, the whipping of a loved one, and that body is still out there for all eyes to see. And they were expected to be happy and to sing and to always be smiling, only when they were told to. They couldn't show emotions of happiness outside of working. So the girl was upset that the girl didn't smile at her. And so I asked her, I said, how long was your encounter with her? And she said, I don't know, a couple of minutes. I said, so 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes. So in that 5 minutes, because she didn't smile at you, now has you angry. I'm like, why? And so first of all, you don't know what happened to that young lady before she got to work. She could have got some bad news about her health. She could have got some bad news about her children's health, about her husband's health. She could have lost a family member. She could have been in an accident. Anything could have happened to her in her personal life that prompted her to not want to smile in that moment. We cannot turn off our emotions like they think we should be able to. They don't. They come to work, and if their dog, God forbid, something happened to their dog, they are distraught and cannot work the rest of the day. And if they have a black supervisor or a white supervisor, they'll extend them grace and tell them, you know what, go home and be with your kids today, because I know they lost their dog. So go home and be with your kids today, and come back tomorrow. If that happens to a black person, even if it's not their pet, if it's their child, and unfortunately, whether the supervisor is black or white, the oppressor is black or white, they are expected to stay there and work. I know this. I'm not just saying from what I heard. I have experienced it, where I was not given grace for something very personal that happened in my life that made it so I was not able to work in my full capacity of being happy. I could still do my job, but I wasn't going to do it with a smile on my face. But I was expected to. And so I told her, I said, why couldn't you just give her some grace? As long as she didn't curse you out or spit in your food or anything like that, you're mad because she didn't smile. If anybody should be giving anybody grace, it should be American-born Africans, Africans in the diaspora, giving each other some grace. Because we too, she works, my coworker, we work in a customer service capacity. And there have been days I have heard her on the phone where she didn't have a smile in her voice because something personal. She was in pain. Her health was bad. And so she wasn't smiling. But she expected those customers on the phone to give her some grace. And she could not extend grace to this young woman who didn't smile when she gave her food. I remember back in the day, black men used to always say, oh my God, black woman, why don't y'all smile? Smile. Y'all don't never smile. Y'all face always turned up. Y'all face always in a frown. You never smile. When we have reasons to, we smile. And it used to be a time back in the day when black men used to pride themselves on being able to make black women smile. And again, with black women, we are everything in the family. We are, in some instances, the provider, or we contribute to the provision of the family. We are the nurses, we're the doctors, we're the accountants, we're the cooks, we're the maids, and we do all of that while having to raise children. And when children get sick, 9 times out of 10, it's not the father who has to ask for time off from work, it's the mother. When children forget something or they're at school and they get sick, they don't call the father to come pick them up. 9 times out of 10, they call the mother. It's the mother that has to make the doctor's appointments. It's the black woman who has to do all of those things. And we're supposed to smile through all of that all the time. We're supposed to be happy. It's a lot of stress. It's a lot of pressure on people, especially black people in this country. So if somebody's not smiling at you and they're in customer service, give them some grace. Show them some mercy. And it doesn't matter what religion you are or what spiritual system you follow. All of them talk about showing grace and mercy to each other. You know, the Christian Bible says that if you don't show mercy, and I'm paraphrasing the scripture, but if you don't show mercy to each other, God won't show mercy to you. In the laws of Ma'at, Law 35 says, at the end of the day, if you can respectfully say, I have not spoken angrily or arrogantly about anyone or to anyone, then you have fulfilled at least that law when it comes to ma'at. And so stop. If you can't offer them a word of encouragement, if you see someone not smiling and it looks like they may be having a bad day, I mean, hey, you know what? It looks like you're not having a good day. I pray that it gets better for you. I hope your day gets better. What's wrong with saying that? You know, when it comes to Black people, the most that we do is maybe not smile or maybe not fulfill your expectations of your encounter with us when it comes to customer service. Some other people, when their expectations are not fulfilled, when they feel like they have been ignored, or they feel like people are not showing them grace, they go into places and take it out on people they don't even know, in classes and schools, classrooms, doctors' offices, theaters, and you know exactly what I'm talking about. So if the most somebody did was not smile at you, shake it off, pray for them. If the Bible tells you to pray for your enemies, surely you can pray for someone that you don't even know that is not your enemy, that things get better for them. Give them some grace. I always end my podcast or my episodes with these things. Love yourself, love each other, give yourself some grace, and give others some grace. Stay healthy, stay cool, or now it's getting into fall, stay warm, whatever part of the country you live in. Honor your ancestors, and they will honor you. Until next time, people, peace.